Somebody ought to come along and let you down, so you could see my side and how it feels to hit the ground. How can you say that nothing's different, that we should pick up the pieces? Somebody ought to come along and let you down. If you still wanted to be loved, you should have never let me go. Hope somebody will break your heart and leave you crying on the floor. You let me down, I won't do this all again. Even if I try, I can't forget it. If you still wanted to be loved, you should have never let me go. Somebody said it should be easy to forgive. We all make mistakes and no one lives without sin. But why'd you have to break my heart? I wasn't ready to let you go yet. And now you're standing at my door, thinking that I'm gonna let you in. But if you wanted to be loved, you should have never let me go. Hope somebody will break your heart, so you could feel this pain and know what it's like to be left out in the cold, standing by yourself, no one to hold. If you still wanted to be loved, you should have never let me go.
Good morning. I hope the air condition is not going to bother you. I hope that the sound doesn't get picked up by the microphone, because it's really hot and I needed to put the air condition. I tried recording yesterday and it was without it, and yeah, it didn't work. So I'm recording again today, but I put it on, so I hope there is not that much background noise. How are you? Before I forget, let me see if this is straight, sorry. Okay. Before I forget and before I get into what I want to talk about, 2 times I got a question on the comments on the videos about this couch that is in our living room where I'm usually sitting on. And people are asking me what couch it is, and one lady, she was wondering if she could get it where she is. We ordered it from Cyprus, but I think it came from Germany. I think it's a German brand, and I don't know how to pronounce it. I think it's Kare. I'm going to put it on the screen, and I'll try to find the link as well. I'll put it down. Now that's the link just so you can see the couch. I don't know how you can get it. Maybe they have representatives in your country, or because I think they had a dealership here and that's how we ordered it. But I'll put the link. I think it's called Kare Designs, but I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correct, and I'll put the model as well. Okay, so now that we are finished with that, what I want to talk to you about is that for a couple of months I've been telling you that I'm working on this recipe for the raglan jumpers that I always knit, that you saw me knit 100 times. And I think I finished it. Well, in my mind I did finish it, and I have posted it. So we'll see now. I have posted it on my blog. Now, I didn't tell you that I have a blog. I do. I have a blog. It's at therepublicofme.com. I'll put that in the link in the description as well. I used to have a website before, a couple of years ago, and it was for some bureaucratic reasons. However, I had closed it because I didn't want to deal with it in that moment. And then after, I was thinking to revive the website, which I did a few months ago, but I made it in the form of a blog. And the reason why I didn't tell you about it is because, first of all, it was empty. I needed to start populating it a bit, and I also didn't know whether I'm going to like writing blog posts, if I'm going to keep up with it. It's not very populated. There is only five entries, but I'm telling you now because this is where I have posted the recipe as the latest entry on the blog. So the recipe, I don't know how much in detail do I go into. I don't think I'm gonna go in detail, but you can read it on the blog, and I hope you like it. I would really like your feedback, and because I went over the numbers again and again and again. My head felt like it's gonna explode. It's not a pattern, so it's a recipe and it's free, so anybody can check it out. It's just I wanted to create like a guide. A lot of you were asking me if I'm going to release patterns, and that's not something that I wanted to get into. I struggle myself reading patterns and writing patterns. Yeah, I could learn it, but that's not something I wanted to get into. I don't know if I will in the future, but as far as I am now, it's not, because then you have pattern support and so forth. However, a lot of you were interested in the raglan jumpers that I make, and you were asking me about it. So I thought, okay, let me try to make a recipe that you guys can follow and kind of knit that type of raglan that is customizable to your size and also to most of the weights of yarn, simply by calculating a few measurements that you can find your place in the chart that I provide, and that you can based on your gauge knit the jumper, you know, whether it's fingering yarn or worsted yarn, Aran, DK. I don't know if it can be done for very bulky. I'm not sure if the numbers cover that, but it does cover pretty much most of the yarn weights. So let me show you, in case, just to remind you, a few of the jumpers that I have made in that model. Before I do that, actually, just a simple overview, basically the way that the pattern will work, that the recipe will work. You will find the yarn that you want to knit it with. You will make a swatch, calculate your gauge, then you will take your measurements. So I tend to knit mostly turtlenecks, but it can work with the wider neck. I actually finished the one with the wider neck that I'm going to try it on for you, so you can see it, how it looks. So you're going to take 2 or 3 measurements. You're going to take how much you want your neck opening to be. So if you want turtleneck, you know, around your neck, how many centimeters? And you're going to take your bust measurements, add these that you want, or if you don't want these. Basically, it's very customizable to how you want your jumper to be. The sleeves are designed in that way, not to be very wide, and ideally, if you find the body size that you're happy with, if you follow the chart, the sleeve should fit. But measure the arm as well, just in case, so you can compare, because all of our bodies are different, you know, just in case, to make sure that it's correct, and then go either by the sleeve measurement or the chest, whichever is bigger. But I think they should be proportional. So once you have your gauge and once you have your measurements, you're going to calculate how many stitches you would need for that circumference, first for the neck opening. Based on your gauge and your circumference of the opening you want, you're going to calculate how many stitches you need. I provide like a table of stitch patterns. This looks complicated, but it's not stitch patterns. A table of stitch counts. So this looks complicated, but it's not. you are concerned only with 2 of the rows. Basically your starting row, where you will find the neck opening, and the row where you will find your bust measurements. So there are 5 columns. There is a column that says total stitches. There is that says half back, because the beginning of the round is in the middle of the back. A column that says sleeve. One that has the stitch counts for the front of the jumper, and the last column is basically body, which is the circumference of your bust, what you would the number of stitches that you would have after you split for the sleeves. I'm calling the sweater In and Out Raglan, and the reason why I'm calling it In and Out Raglan is that based on your measurements and based on your swatch, depending on what thickness of yarn you're going to use. So once you find, let's say, your neck opening, and you calculate how many stitches you need, you're going to go in I explain all of that in the actual pattern, but I'm just in the actual recipe, but I'm giving you the overview. So you're going to go into the column that says total stitches, find the one that is closest to the number that you have found, and then follow the instructions. Based on that is your in row. And then all the other stitch numbers in that row is basically how you are going to start your raglan increases. It tells you how many to put for the sleeves, how many for the front, how many for the back, so that you're concerned only with that row. And then you will, since you have the measurements of your bust, the same way like you did for the neckline, you are going to find the row, but in the column body, because that is the measurement where after you split for the sleeves, how wide you want your body to be. You will find the stitch count that is right for you, for your size and for your yarn gauge. And once you find that number in that column, and in the column body, that is your row, and that is your out row. So this is where In and Out Raglan is. And this is where you're going to stop the raglan increases. So the beginning row is your in row. You start the raglan increases. And the one where is your bust measurements, that's your out row, where you stop the raglan increases. And all the rows in between, they give you the stitch counts after each 4-row repeat, so you know at any time where you are in the knitting, in the process of the jumper for you, whether how much you have to go basically until your out row, and whether you have the proper stitch counts for the sleeve, for the body, for the half of the back, for the front, and so on. The increases, the way that I do them, are done in a 4-row pattern. So everything is explained in the recipe. So I suggest that you go and look at it and play around with it. But in short, the increases are done as a 4-row repeat. So the first row, we will increase body and sleeves. So there will be 8 increases on the first round. The second round, we only knit. The third round, we increase only the body. We don't do any increases on the stitches. So only the body on the front and at the back. And the fourth round, we only knit. So those rows that I have in the table of the stitch counts, they give you the number of stitches after each of those 4-row repeats. And as far as short rows, you can do short rows if you want. If you don't, I don't think you have to. But if you want, you can choose the one that your own preferred method. The one that I explain in the recipe is the one that I use, and that is I knit one short row. I make one short row every 16th round, and that kind of spaces them out evenly at the back of the body. To remind you, I'm going to show you a few of the jumpers that were made in that pattern. You've seen them a bunch of times, but just to kind of have them all in one place and to see that they can be made in different weights of yarn. So this is one of my first ones and one of my most worn. This is made in DK weight yarn. It's Drop Sky. I'm going to, of all of the jumpers that I have, except the cashmere one, because that I don't know the brand of the yarn. I'm going to put the brand of the yarn, and I'm going to tell you, put the link where I bought it. Now, you guys go ahead and see if you have it anywhere locally to you, those yarns, but I'm just going to put basically where I bought the yarn and put the link to that. So this is, as I said, Drop Sky. It's done as a turtleneck, and it's DK weight yarn. So then moving on to a bit thicker one. You saw this one as well a few months ago. This is Aran or worsted. This is Cascade 220, and I think that's 200 meters per 100 grams. And in this one, I have made the same pattern, but I have added the detail of a twisted rib on the sleeve. I don't know how well you can see that, but if you go back a few videos, you're going to be able to see the whole jumper. So this way you can see that not only can you knit it in different yarn weights, but also the recipe is just basically a blank canvas. So I love blank canvas in this sense, so I love knitting them plain as they are. However, it can be used just as a base, and then you can start, or we can start together adding additional details. Like in this case, it's the ribbing on the sleeve. Maybe we can add cables in one of them. And there is, I mean, I think the possibilities are endless. So this is, as I said, Cascade 220. I think the color is turtle. I will put the link. For the one, the previous one that I showed you, I used 4mm needle. For this one, I used 5mm needle. Then the next one is, this is Cascade 220 fingering. So this is fingering weight yarn. For this one, I have used 3mm needle. You could use even a smaller one, but I liked a bit looser gauge in this particular yarn. And in fact, I think this this jumper looks a bit better if the fabric has a bit more drape. So Cascade 220 fingering, again, I will put it in the link, and this was on 3mm needle. And the other one that I finished since we last spoke, I'm gonna try this one on for you, only because you haven't seen it and because I love you, otherwise it's really, really hot. And this is Drops Lima, 200 meters per 100 grams, and I used 5mm needle for the body. So this one, the other one's are turtlenecks. This one I have made just so you can see how it can be done with the wider neck opening. Let's find it's black, so I don't know which way is the correct way. Okay. So there you go. It's the same model of the jumper. It's the same model as the other ones, but this one I have done with a wider neck, just so you can really understand that there is if you don't like turtlenecks, you don't have to knit turtlenecks. That's just my preference because that's what I like. Oh, I'm gonna take this one off. Even though I have the air condition, it's hot. And I'm working on another two, but now since the recipe is ready and because it's also hot, I'm not really in a hurry to finish them yet. I'm working on this cashmere one that you have seen. This yarn I'm not going to put in the link in the description because I bought it ages ago on eBay and I don't know the brand. We spoke about it a few videos ago. I don't know the brand. It's just I was buying them over the years here and there, and then I collected enough in different colors. So this one, same model again. 3mm needles I'm using for this one. I have finished the sleeve and I'm working on the other one now. So that should be finished soon. And the last one that I'm working on is this one in Drops Nord. The color is Fog. Is this kind of dusty pigeon blue. Same model. This is sport weight yarn and I'm knitting on 3mm. So from the ones that I have shown you, we have DK on 4mm, two of the worsted or Aran weights that I think worsted that are on 5mm needles, one fingering on 3mm, and this one is sport weight yarn on 3mm. This one I didn't finish the body yet, so I'm almost done with the body and then I'm going to pick up for the sleeves and knit it. But you can see that you can really, you know, just dive into your stash if you like this model and go for it, try it out. What else I have to say about it? I would like your feedback. Definitely, I would really like your feedback on the recipe, and it took everything out of me. I don't know what I can do if it's not easily understandable. If it's not, maybe you guys can give me suggestions, but I wouldn't know how else to improve it. I think it's written well. And I have sent it to a few friends to read through it, and one of them came back to me and she said that it's written very well, that it's easy to understand and to follow, and that it's going to be a great guide, which I'm really, really thankful to her. And Nana, thank you. And fingers crossed you find it the same way, but I would like your feedback. And on the blog there is also a section where you can subscribe, give me your email. I collect those emails basically at the back end of the blog, and if later on in the future I'm going to send in newsletters, which I didn't now, of course I didn't, I didn't even tell you about the blog. But later on, if you want to be informed about a new post, or I don't have anything for sale on the blog, but in the future, if I ever do, that can also I can also inform you about that. What else did I want to say? Oh my God! If you see me, the pictures that I used for the post of the recipe are of this beige jumper. And a couple of days ago, I went upstairs in my studio to take some photos, so I can put them in the blog post with the recipe. And I don't know, but as I'm getting older, I'm quite rigid when I take photos, and I used to model when I was younger. So I know that that was not an issue for me. However, now, whenever Mario tries to take a photo of me, I don't know, I'm just really stiff. And and I don't look natural and I feel embarrassed. And so what I did, I went upstairs and I turned the camera on to record, and that made me more relaxed, so I was more fluid. And then after, when I was looking through the footage, I kind of liked certain places in the video, and then I just took screenshots of that, and that seemed to work. But the reason why I'm smiling, and it's because it's Cyprus and it's middle of summer, and that room upstairs, my studio, is like the attic room, so you can imagine the heat. And then when I put the woolens on as well, that was disaster. It's like, thankfully you cannot see my face in the photos, because probably I had this miserable, pissed off kind of look on my face from, you know, all the heat and, you know, probably sweating on my forehead. But it was, I think I got some, I chose only 2 photos, but I'm happy with them. I like how the lighting is. That's that, and enjoy it. I'm really happy that I can do this for you, that I could make this for you, and I'm going to be even happier if it's easy to understand, and you guys need some of those jumpers, In and Out Raglan sweater. And let me know, and if you do, first of all, let me know on the feedback if you can easily understand it, and if you cannot, that's also something that I thought about. If you really have trouble understanding it, I don't think I can explain it better in words, but what I can do is maybe we can have a knit along, and I can record videos of those sections that you need to do in the raglan, so we can kind of make one jumper together. Okay, so that's that. Thank you very much for watching, and thank you in advance for giving me your feedback, and I hope you try it out, and if you do sometime down the line, please do tag me. Thanks a lot. Bye for now.
But if you wanted to be loved, you should have never let me go. Hope somebody will break your heart, so you could feel my pain and know what it's like to be there.